Congressman, you have confidence in Ron Klain to be the so-called Ebola czar?
Wolf, I think he's very capable. I've never worked with him myself, but I know he's highly regarded. But I just wonder if he's the right person for this job. I would have preferred someone with a command presence, someone like a former NYPD Commissioner Ray Kelly or General Colin Powell, someone who can mobilize forces, someone who can really command troops on the ground, if you will. For instance, if God forbid there is a outbreak in a particular city or area, someone who can, again, mobilize everyone that has to be brought together and has the absolute power to do that. But listen, I wish him well. Certainly, I would hope that the Congress will cooperate with him in every way. This is too important for partisan politics, and I hope that my misgivings are proven wrong, because I want him to succeed. This is too serious.
As you well know, Congressman, a passenger died of natural causes on a flight from Nigeria to JFK International Airport in New York on Thursday. Officials are saying this person did not have Ebola, but you're taking issue. You're very concerned about the way this was handled. Tell us why.
Yes, Wolf, I am. First of all, we've seen so much uncertainty from the CDC over the last several weeks. I mean, first we were told it was almost impossible to be communicated, to be, for people to catch it, if you will. And then we find out now more than 800 people are being tracked who could have been on the same plane with one of the nurses. So I just think that a lot more has to be done as far as protocols and as far as procedures, because, again, the CDC has been so wrong over the last several weeks, and basically saying it was impossible to get it, to now monitoring 800 people who just may have been on a plane with this one nurse.
But Congressman,
yes,
no. I just want to make it clear. In this particular case, there was no Ebola. They turned out, with hindsight, to be right. They handled it correctly,
right? Absolutely. Well, I don't know if they handled it right. The decision turned out to be right, but I mean, do we know that they could do that quick an examination of someone and conclude that the person did not have Ebola? Now, listen, many people came into contact with the gentleman down in Texas, and they didn't get Ebola, but two of them did. So just because they're right once doesn't mean they would be right again. So I'm saying let's make sure the protocols are in place. And I asked basically the HHS secretary, Homeland Security secretary, DHS secretary, to just get back to us, and also CBP, Customs and Border Protection, to make sure that the protocols are working. The workers at the airport are very concerned that not enough is being done to protect them. And in view of all that's gone wrong over the last several weeks, I'd rather be safe than sorry.
So, Congressman, it sounds to me like the only way to prevent what your fears are would be a travel ban for all passengers coming in from West Africa, whether Liberia, Sierra Leone, Guinea. Is that right?
Yeah, yes, Wolf. I support, and I did not originally, but I do now, support a ban on all travelers from those countries.
But very quickly, what about American citizens who may be volunteers over there, Doctors Without Borders or Samaritan's Purse? Some of the doctors who are there, should they be allowed to come back to the United States?
Yes, they should. We should make special provisions for medical personnel going back and forth. Absolutely, because the ultimate resolution to this is going to be a medical solution in West Africa. And I think American doctors are essential to that. But there's a difference between allowing American doctors and American medical personnel to travel back and forth than just having random citizens from West Africa coming into the United States.